Hello ladies and gentlemen, Yessik Ziiq here again today to bring you another episode of Indie Crunch. And today we're looking at Rogue Legacy, which I know I've already covered the demo, but I was supposed to record like 5 hours of footage today, and I ended up just playing Rogue Legacy for about 5 hours. So you might notice I'm level 37, and you might or might not notice that I haven't beaten any bosses. Now you might think this is because I suck at the game, but it is in fact because I cannot stop just trying to loot. I've only tried to fight the boss once, and I did quite well against it, but I just absolutely love this game. Ever since my first video, I had a lot of people telling me that I'm playing it wrong, and the way that I'm playing it wrong was entirely true. They were pretty much telling me that I wasn't using the Xbox controller, and it controls perfectly with an Xbox controller. They are indeed correct. So right now I'm being a barbarian. You might notice a lot of my stuff is red. That's because I have the lifesteal equipment, which also drains segments of my health. So I am currently in that. And if you don't know how this game works, basically every life you play as a new character. Every time you go through the castle, and there's very few places where you can get extra health, there's very few places where you can get extra mana, so you're pretty much stuck with the character how it's designed to begin with. Now, every time you die, you get to keep all your money. So you get to spend it on upgrading your castle, and one of your successors plays on instead of you. And again, I cannot overstate how important it is to actually play this with a Xbox controller as opposed to the keyboard and mouse. It works so much better. If you don't have an Xbox controller, there are some awesome programs that help you emulate it with other controller types, which is what I'm currently doing. So, yeah. So as you can see, I'm gathering a lot of money. I'm currently at 340. Right now, a good run for me is in the thousands, so 1,000 or 2,000 gold. And hopefully I'll actually be able to show you a boss in this too. And what happens when I die, because so far I'm playing a bit too well to actually die, but I don't want to play badly because I like the game so much. And of course I'm trying to go for treasure. There we go. Sometimes those rooms can be a bit challenging to time how your jumps properly. I really didn't think I would go all the way down if I didn't try to go anywhere. So sometimes you come across these rooms where you pick up some health, some mana, and usually they're a transition between two separate areas. So if I go up here right now, I'm in the Maya instead of where I was before. So I'm actually going to show you some of this, even though it will very likely kill me. Fortunately, these guys can only fire in a set number of directions, so they're fairly easy. As you can tell, as I go into different areas, the rewards, or the amount of rewards, actually changes. You also get some higher level of enemies that you've already faced before. So you die, you get a rundown of who you've killed, you get your final words. Certain runes work better with certain bosses, thank you very much. And you get to choose your heir from the title screen. So right now I can choose Sir Lee III, who is the Lich and who is stereo blind, so can't see in 3D. Sir Johnny II, who has EID memory, and Electrophobia, which is that chickens scare me. Generally that means there's more chicken drops, but you have to kill them. So and the EID memory, I'm not sure what it stands for, I'm assuming photographic memory, means that you get markers on the map for where all the enemies are in a level. Or I can get Sir Gouda II the Assassin, and I absolutely hate assassins in this. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the mage here because I kind of like his stats. And here's my keep. Every time I unlock something new in the keep, it actually builds a bit of the castle. So I'm not going to show that at the moment, or actually I am. So crit damage up here. Let's go with this instead. This is gold gain up. Can't actually afford it. Unlock Knave. Oh, sorry, potion up. Can't afford that either. Can't upgrade the Lich. So I guess I'll show you this. So as you can see, that just plants a tree. Sometimes it builds whole sections of the castles, and this is how I've unlocked the classes so far. The Lich being, or the Shinobi being right here, the Lich being, well, I don't know where exactly. Also in this area, unlock Lich. You can also upgrade your starting classes, so I upgraded the Mage, upgraded the Knave, unlocked the Miner. The Miner's a really cool class that actually gets more rewards and can, if you've upgraded it, see where all the treasure is on the map. So anyways, enough of that. Also, you have the town where you can change your equipment. Once you buy equipment once, it is permanently bought and you can switch between it, so I haven't bought this grayed out one here. And you can just switch at will. And that also works on your burden, which you can improve in the manner by leveling things up. You can also get rune stones. Right now I have a double jump equipped, a sprint equipped, pretty much everything I need. There's also a flying rune, but I find the flying rune is not very helpful and kind of hard to control. And an extra gold glitch. So here you can use your spells pretty much infinitely, and basically use things that take mana. So here we go, get this. This is actually a very expensive spell, minus 30 MP as you can see, but this is just to experiment. It bounces everywhere. And as the Archmage, I can actually cycle between spells as my special ability. So once you go into the next area, unless you have a haggle ability, you have to give up pretty much all your money. The other thing that the Archmage has that other classes don't, is that when you kill, you actually gain MP. So if I were to switch to the big bouncing balls here, I would feel a bit like I was announcing for Wipeout, so that's a thing. So you can see I got some HP and MP there. I like to try to use spells as the Archmage, just because I find that it's really helpful. And usually they don't really incentivize it much since you run out of MP so fast, you don't want to rely on the spells, but with the Archmage it's a completely different case. So fairly successful little room, and occasionally you get these fairy rooms, where you have an objective, and if you beat your objectives, you get a special chest. Oh, and I died right away. So maybe I'll get to show off another class. That is actually a pretty standard run. Generally I last a bit longer than that. So I can get the Lich, or the Archmage, who is nearsighted. OCD. OCD is actually kind of cool, because destroying objects actually increases your MP, so I'm going to be a Lich. I'm not enjoying the Lich very much so far. Basically, you start out with very little health, 30 as you can see, and as you kill, it increases your maximum health. So I didn't have enough gold to actually buy anything there. And that guy to your left, by the way, is a very important thing for later on, especially if you want to be fighting bosses, because he actually locks the bosses, or locks the format of the dungeon. So any treasure you've taken will be gone. But if you found the boss, you can find it again very easily, just because you know exactly where he is. So here's a room with lots of spikes, with traps everywhere. I'm really taking a lot more damage than I should, but since I have so much lifesteal, I don't mind too much. Which is one of the problems with me and having lifesteal. I tend to not care about my life as much as I should. There we go. Big guy here. The magic spell that actually sort of comes with the Lich, I've never seen any other character with it, is this Raven spell that attacks all enemies on screen for a fair amount of damage. And a few enemies off screen, apparently, too. So let's get this chest here. It's just a bunch of gold. Not that I'm not happy with a bunch of gold. Lots of fun. So you might be wondering, why am I not Let's Playing this game? It's a valid question. I think there are already too many people doing that, including people I'm watching, Northern Line and such. So, probably not going to see that from me. But I figured I'd show it off again, just because I have actually spent so much time playing it today, when I was supposed to be doing other things. Okay, don't have enough MP to properly... Oh god, okay. So I have to dodge a lot of things here. Still not enough MP to properly... Ow. To properly cast my spell. Remember, I get MP back for actually destroying objects, and HP back for actually killing things. The thing with the Lich's ability to actually gain health of the enemies you kill, it's really cool ability, but I find that it is pretty much useless because it maxes out so early. Not sure if that was done on purpose or if I'm experiencing some sort of glitch, but just killing everything in here for the lifesteal since it's all pretty easy stuff. There we go, let me get the zombie. Lovely, and move on to the next room. So, is there anything I don't like about this game? Because initially when I first played it, I gave controls as the one thing I didn't really care for. But now that I say the controls are absolutely fine, do I have a problem with anything? Not really. Oh damn. Just wasted a bunch of MP there by doing that. I also know that there's a spellcaster hanging somewhere, because he keeps casting that. I just want to show you another class or two, and then I'll probably end the video. There we go. Lich. Here we go. Hokage. So, this was initially the shinobi, and clearly a reference to Naruto, because I'm pretty sure that that word Hokage is only a Naruto thing. Not gonna give any opinions on the show. Kind of crap. Really crap, actually. But, there are references to it in this game. So I just gave up all my gold, which I only after that realized was a really bad idea since I had quite a bit of it. Shinobi, actually my favorite class, because you have the ability to teleport just by pressing the triangle button, or the Y button as it might be on the Xbox controller. And you do a ton of damage. It's the single highest damage class, although you cannot crit. So if you're focusing a lot of your build on critting, it's just not going to work out for you. So I'm going to use this opportunity to try to find and fight the boss. Managed to kill you. Oh, okay. This area here is kind of a pet peeve of mine, because you can only get in if you have dwarfism. And there tends to be a lot of them, and I've only ever seen them on floors where I don't have dwarfism, so kind of a piss off. So here is an opportunity to show off my ability, because I can just fall down. Oh, I was really hoping to be able to get the fairy chest, but apparently I can't teleport then jump. Which is... So I should have actually dropped down, dashed, and then jumped. And I should also remember to actually use that jump. Seems pretty useful. So I could make it up into the next area, but like I said, my objective is currently to find the boss, so I'll be trying to do that instead. And of course, at the same time, trying not to die, because... well, secret area. There we go. So you do have to watch out for secrets or discolored objects in this game, because often they lead to things like this, which are kind of awesome. Discolored little bits of tile. Oh. I'm glad he didn't kill me. I do have armor on right now, so I shouldn't be one hit by anything, even at fairly low health. In the start of the game, a lot of characters will die in 2 hits. So it is a grind fest, but for some reason, well, actually I know the exact reason. It makes you keep wanting to come back and play more of it, because every run is different, and you could get lucky and have a highly lucrative run very easily. So I noticed that picture is shaking. One of the advantages of the shinobi is if you notice an enemy before it notices you, you can just kill it pretty instantly. There we go. Have to get back up to 51 health, or I would really like to get up to 51 health again. There we go. Ow. And counterproductive. There we go, back up to 21. I'm pretty much just maintaining my not dying, and doing that just barely, which I'm not a big fan of. But I did want to show you the shinobi, since I really like hard-hitting classes, like blast cannon type classes. Because I'd prefer to avoid getting hit, or to use my bullet hell skills to avoid getting hit, while basically doing max damage to anything else. And you'll see where bullet hell comes into this once I fight the boss of this floor. Oh. So this is one of the things I have a bit of a problem with in this game, and it's mostly because I find that the whole downwards attack system is kind of badly timed. I don't want to say it's badly designed, but I can't seem to time it very well. I do have the option set to press down and simply down to downwards attack. There we go. But I end up missing them all the time. And there was really no reason for me to stay in this room for that long, so shouldn't really have complained. Every once in a while you get these journals. Journal entry number 8 from the number of dead adventurers I have passed in these halls, I have come to the following conclusions. Many did not take enough provisions with them. I assume many died of hunger. I myself running low and will have to find more supplies. Many are missing clothes, which explains the pant-wearing zombies. Okay, cool. So that is from the previous person who's here. There is an overarching story, but the overarching story is pretty simple. It involves either your heir or your heir or your enemy slaying the king. I can't actually tell if you're the heir of the king or if you're the heir of the person who killed the king. And we are out seeking vengeance. I guess that would make more sense if you were the heir of the king. Let's kill that, kill you. See why I like the shinobi so much? If you have enough lifesteal on you, you can easily stay at fairly high health just by constantly having a fair amount of kills. Oh god. Okay, is there any, like, secrets up here? No, okay. Sometimes you find an absolutely useless room, and I have indeed found the boss, so now I get to fight it for you, but I want to get to full health first. So, let's see what I can do. This should be a fairly easy room to gain a bit of health. Got a couple extra gold. These guys only attack when you get close to them because they have a very short range. Extra chicken. And I am at full health. Any chests in this room? Oh, one of the, apparently I don't have a map because of one of my traits. Well, that kind of sucks. I'm not sure what trait would have caused that, but... So this is the first boss of the game, the Gatekeeper Keter. Now, I have not beaten this boss yet, but... Oh, okay. I've not beaten this boss, but if I am going to have a chance, it would be now, because this guy has some special abilities. So, no, did not get him. I normally am better at dodging than that. I almost beat the boss last time with a mage just doing melee. Now, I think that will actually call it for this episode. I did get a fair amount of money, though, so I will spend on some stuff and just show you the area building. So I'm going with the paladin here. You might notice her trait was baldness, which actually only makes it say balding instead of building when you enter an area. So let's get that up, and you see I actually unlock Spell Thief here. Unlock the Spell Thief and become a martial mage. So this is a new character class that I have yet to unlock, and I would really like to see it. I'm assuming I'm getting pretty close to having everything built in this castle and just not everything maxed out. So what I did there was I increased potion effectiveness by 10%. Upgrade 1%, level 1, 5. I don't know what that upgrade means though. So that's pretty much the whole game. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Indie Crunch. If you'd care to see more in the future, please subscribe. I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Oh yes, I did have one more thing to say, and that's why I was stalling for time asking you to subscribe. I do now have a business email, so if anyone is interested in getting their indie game to me, it's the best place to do it. Anything not related to indie games will be completely ignored at the business email. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you guys next time.